Okay, hello, and welcome to this special Google Hangout. I am not sure if Dr. Adrian Plou is on the call, if he can hear me, if he cannot hear me. So just bear with me 1 second as I going to try to find him and unmute him here. So it just 1 moment here. I'm just presenting to everyone. Okay. So let me just look here if I can see Dr. Blue on the call, if he is there or if he is not there. So just bear with me 1 moment for that. Let me just see my chat messages. Hello. Dr. Blue, are you there? Are you there? So let me just 1 moment more waiting if Dr. Blue is there, if he can see me, if he can hear me, if everybody can hear me. Otherwise, I'm just have to go ahead right now and actually start the call. So 1 second. I believe I can't see him or he doesn't see me. So let me go back again here and actually share my screen again. So just that we get started here. 1 moment. So I'm sharing my screen again. I believe you must see my screen, all of you. Well, we were going to talk about how to build a successful business in Swiss Gold Global. How to go ahead with that. And this is our first session on how to do so. And I'm really sorry that Dr. Blue can't do the introduction because he's just so phenomenal, and he has a great team, the team that which he is building a global mission there. Now, building a successful business, I have been with the company, and I was just actually looking at an old picture of mine, and that really dates back to January 2008. So it's some time ago now. And of course, it's all about a journey. It's a journey. It's a journey to success. Nobody gets overnight successful. And when you just look at yourself, and did you ever stop basically and ask yourself, why? Why are some people they have it all, and some people they are so successful? They have a great wife or a great husband and beautiful children and money and the nicest car and the nicest best lifestyle they live in. Why do some people have that and why other people are not? What is that? And I guess that all has to do with, a few things which I do follow, and this is actually some really great success tips. One of my coaches, and that is, first of all, you got to decide. You got to decide on your goal, and you got to launch it, and you got to get started. You got to get moving. You got to get start action. I remember when I was a little kid back in East Germany. I made a decision, a very conscious decision. I did not want to live anymore in this country. I needed to escape. I needed to get out of there. That was for me the only way I could think of that I would eventually succeed in life. Now, I'm not going into that journey now to tell that, but it was a hell of a journey. But I just decided and I did take action. And the second one is never consider failing. I wouldn't even have thought in my mind I could consider failing. Why? Well, because failing would mean basically death back then. Crossing the iron curtain. So it didn't even come up in my mind I could ever fail. And third, the only time you have is now. It's now in the moment. It's not tomorrow. It's certainly not yesterday. That's already gone. It is now. And you got to watch out for those people who are going to say no to you. They're going to say, no, not this, and this is that, and you are not going to succeed, and you are this, and you are that, and whatnot. There's a lot of naysayers, even good friends. They're going to say no to you or nay because they don't want you to leave. They don't want you to be successful. Why? Well, if you become successful, then you may leave them and maybe you hang out with broke friends, or did hang out with broke friends, or people who just didn't have a lot of money, were just living a very, very humble life, which that was my case. So it doesn't mean that those people are bad, no, but it just means very often they will not want you to leave because they don't want that their good friend, their good buddy is actually leaving them and becoming successful. So this is a really very important, sort of roadblock in which you have to get over it. So watch out for those naysayers. And you got to welcome obstacles. There are a lot of obstacles coming in your way. I mean, lots. And they come most likely when you don't need them. But they are going to come. I can promise you that they're going to come. And what I always have learned, and really from my coaches and mentors, I got to be grateful. And I'm grateful for that obstacles that they come. So I say, hey, obstacle, I know you are there. And I'm grateful that you're there. But you know what? That is not going to hinder me push towards my goal. I know you're there. I know you're watching. I know you in my way. But you know what? I'm going to get over you. So I'm actually grateful for those obstacles. And then you got to be clear about the goal, but you got to be flexible. You got to be flexible that, hey, sometimes maybe the way you're doing it or about to do it is actually wrong, or you got to adjust it a little bit. And so you got to also learn from that mistakes. You got to be flexible. You got to adjust. And that's really what great leaders are always are. They are flexible. So you may do a presentation a certain way in our business, but that is maybe not the best way to do it. So you got to adjust. You got to be open for that. And seventh, nobody is actually going to do it alone. We only can really be successful in this type of business, or any business really, with a team. Ask Richard Branson. Certainly he couldn't have done it without a team. Ask Bill Gates. He couldn't have done it with a team. Well, I can't ask any more Steve Jobs, but if you read his book, well, he certainly couldn't have done it without a team. So building a successful business in Swissco Global, I'm going to give you some tips really to build your own empire. And that really first starts with use all the products and services in as many ways as possible, in as many ways as possible. So as you know, we don't just anymore just go deal with gold and silver, which is an amazing wealth foundation, but we also tap into the new way, into the cryptocurrency. So you got to learn about it. You got to have the applications for it. You got to use it. You got to go shopping with it. You got to use all those things in order to actually explain, in order to show, hey, look at this on my app. I'm just, my Bitcoin is growing, you see? And if I was going to sell it, well, this is what I get in dollars. So those things are very important when we do our business. You've got to use it in many ways as possible. I see here with a pizza. You've got to find out where are those places. So maybe you can take your prospects to those places, even showing them a Bitcoin ATM. I know we're speaking right now to an audience in the United States. There are many Bitcoin ATMs. I know their leader, Dr. Blue, of course, and who actually went there. Why did he do that? Why would he do that? Well, because he wanted to see first himself that this is real, and then in order to show other people. Makes sense. So use the products and services in as many ways as possible. Use our coaching in as many ways as possible. Really important. And we have great coachings and teachings here. Use all the product services, as you see, the gold and silver, and try it out. Get your Starbucks card if you like it, or just if you don't like it, just get it anyways in order to show, so that you pay with Bitcoin. You see Best Buy here, you see Game Shop, you see Whole Foods with Bitcoin. I mean, gosh, the places which open up to you see here are vacations. Well, you got to use those services, because then you can talk about it. You can talk about it in a way greater passion, and people will see that you come from authority. And then the next thing is what you want to do is you want to think about what you will do with your empire, with your income all the time. all the time. You got to think about that. My mind is always wondering, where is my next trip going to be? Because why did I escape East Germany in my case? Or I wanted to because I lived behind the Iron Curtain, where it was not possible to travel. So I wanted to travel. That is my original goal, why I wanted to escape, right? So of course, I'm thinking about it all the time. Where does my next destination is going to take me? But for some people, maybe this is a car. It's not for me, but for some is. For some, it's the family with a nice, beautiful home. That is a great goal. And create and maintain the next step, a list of people to prospect and how to get hold of them. The next big important part. And there must be hundreds of people actually on this list eventually. You may start out with 5, 10, 15, 20 list, but eventually, that list will grow and must grow. You got to study as well multi-level marketing, network marketing, like you're pursuing a 4-year degree in it. You got to read and listen to everything. I mean, we have these great tools, the Own Your Life by by Don and Nancy Feiler here. You can actually go with your team through it. Teacher, that's teaching lessons on it. I mean, I have all kinds of stuff. I'm constantly reading and updating myself. I love that book, Making the First Circle Work, The Foundation of Duplication and Network Marketing by Randy Gage. I'm all the time looking at these things. Why would I do so? I'm already successful with it. Well, you can still be more successful. There's no limit to how successful you are. So I'm still learning. I'm always going to be learning. Read and listen everything. Study all the marketing materials available so you actually will know what to use and when to use them. Next, manage your beliefs. You've got to study, you've got to listen, to watch people that have the beliefs you want. Learn to believe in what you want. And you've got to create a business plan, a simple one that you will follow every day, each and every day. And you've got to boil it so much down to a daily action plan, and then you've got to work the plan. You've got to work the plan. And in one of the lessons I'm going to give to you, I have the numbers, the exact numbers, what it will take for you to make you successful. And if you follow that really by the book, if you follow those numbers by the book, well, there's no way that you must be successful. It is just that people are not following it. But you really got to boil it down and do a daily action plan. And then treat your business opportunity, your STG opportunity, like any new career. Got to dedicate yourself time to it, mastering it. I mean, when I got started, I didn't know it all. I had worked in corporate for a large network marketing company, and that's what I always talk about. But yet I'd never built it myself. So there's a totally difference in working for a large company, but then actually to really go out and physically building one. You got to work at least part-time, 10 to 20 hours a week. Because really sometimes only get paid sometimes. What I mean by work at least part-time, 10 to 20 hours. Some people say, well, I just have 2 hours. And I have had this happen. They wanted that I show them a way how to make $10,000, but I just can spend 2 hours in it. And then I would have to tell them, well, how much time do you give yourself in order to earn that income? Well, I want to have it by next month. Well, I'm sorry, I can't help you there because I couldn't really physically teach them how to do that in 2 hours a week and to create such an income. So you got to be reasonable as well, of course, there. So work at least part-time, 10 to 20 hours a week. Well, what if you don't have those 10 to 20 hours a week? Well, if you don't have the 10 to 20 hours a week, well, look at how could you reduce other tasks which are not going to bring you forward in terms of businesses, in terms of finances. We often waste a lot of time and we don't even realize we waste a lot of time. So what I did is when I didn't have the time, because I was working so much, well, I would listen to audios when I went to work. when I drove to work, in my breaks. I would all the time listening to something so I could learn, of course, the business. And then, of course, in between, prospect people. So talk to people, learn to how to prospect, and do it just as much possible as you can. But if you have to really boil everything down less than 10 hours a week, well, you're probably just going to take longer in order to achieve your desired goal. Learn to promote the income opportunity as well as you might promote, of course, the products and services. More people are actually interested in the money, I can tell you that. Promote income and free time more than business opportunity or home-based business. So promote income and free time. That's what people want. People don't want to be tracked into another business. People want and are looking forward to having more time. People want, of course, holes, not drills bits. So don't push ropes. Work with willing. Work only with those who work, not with those who promise to work. I would consider most of my valuable time I have spent with people who didn't deserve it, with people who promised they would work, but they never went to work. Unfortunately, and I can really ask of most of the top income earner, and they would tell me the same. So be really careful who you dedicate your time with, because your time is now and time flies. Give yourself options from which to pick your leaders. Sponsor enough people to create, of course, some odds in the favor of you, that you can pick those leaders. Sponsor and keep sponsoring until you find an ace or a worker who really does want to take it to the next level. And then what you got to do is then you have to build a foundation, take them deep, build with them, run with them. I remember that when I worked, when I actually I was in Spain living, and I worked for my first direct sales company. And that lady, what she was a worker. Her husband just had left her. She had a baby and she had a little one. And the baby was very ill, like really ill, with a very seldom illness. So it was disastrous. She had no money. He took everything. She didn't have somewhere to live, so she had at the end, of course, but she worked so hard for that. It was amazing for me. She still is my mentor. She was my mentor. She still is my mentor. And I was the newbie. I started there. And I didn't know any people because I just moved to Spain. I didn't even speak really well the language. But boy, did she push you. But she knew I was a worker. I'm a worker. So what I am. Well, no excuses. Didn't know people. Well, meet people. Do whatever you have to do. I knocked doors. I went through villages in Spain with 40, well, not 40, actually 45 degrees. I don't know. This is in America. It's like 120 or so, 115, 120. So you see a Fata Morgana already. You see, like one time I almost fell down because I was just so hot. But no matter what, I did knock on doors. I did all kinds of stuff. Why? Because I didn't know people. I needed to meet people because I was new in this country and I wanted to make this business work, because that lady gave me so much inspiration and I totally identified with the products. So she took me deep. And there are always 4 aces in every 52 cards. And oddly enough, there are usually at least 4 builders out of every 52 you sponsor. That's why we always say, you got to keep sponsoring. Yes, you got to keep sponsoring. You got to keep talking with people. Eventually, if you come to 52 people, there are 4 people who are going to do some work with you, and then you help them do the same. Be mindful of placing people under people. No one likes to being given up for adoption. So it's not a good idea, or it's not such a good idea as it actually sounds. Sometimes, you have those people who are really great in getting new people on board, and then they want to help people, they want to help them out, they want to help their team members out. But I tell you what, got to be very mindful with that. Sponsor as through you could only do so for the next 12 months. And then of course, there wouldn't be any more people you could actually sponsor. So sponsor as flu, you could only do so for the next 12 months, and then I had to build a course on that. So really, really important. Prospect as flu, you believe everyone is at least interested. They would be if they knew what you know, wouldn't they? If they knew that you could mine your own money, if they would knew they could mine their own money, do you think they would not be interested? And if they knew they could do that passively, uh, would you not think they would be not interested? I believe so. And if they could, with that money they mine, convert it into gold and silver and be diversified in Switzerland or in Dubai, don't you think they would want to do that? Sure, they would. So keep a prospecting piece or pace and attitude as through SGG we're paying you $2,000 a month just to introduce people. Really keep that attitude, because and on my training, which I do about the numbers, I'm talking about that. So if you really take this serious, well, it's going to give you a great return. If all you had to do, imagine, was introduce the company to get paid, if all you had to do was introduce the company to get paid, who would you talk to? What would you say? What would you do if they said no? Do the same thing with the same attitude and you will earn a $2,000 a month or more. Some will, some won't. So what? Who's next? Remember, the more people who say no, the closer you are to the one who say yes. And the odds prove it. So really bank on it. If time and opportunity, though, permit, I prefer that always. Get to know people before introducing them to SGG. Find out what is important to them and what it is missing. Never buy cute or creative about, never be cute or creative about what it is you do. You know, some people, when I listen to them, gosh, what the many things they say when they talk about their opportunity. And it's actually so easy. If you're still working your full-time job and you just started with this business, it's very simple. Hey, you know what? I'm a truck driver full-time, but in my part-time, I'm building my career, or in my part-time, I'm building on my dream, or I'm building on my future, or I'm building on my empire. You can say that I'm a full-time truck driver, but in my part-time, I'm building on my empire. Well, what do you mean? And what is your empire about? Don't you think people would ask that? And you say, well, you know, I partnered with a company, and this company, what they help me to is actually, first of all, understand money, understand diversification of money, and understand how to make more money through that new crypto. I don't know if you have heard about that new cryptocurrency. So I'm actually mining money on a daily basis. What do you do? Well, I'm mining money on a daily basis. Well, can you explain me more? Sure. If I was to watch you a video, would you, a short video which would explain that all, would you want to watch that? Sure, I would. Oh, great. When do you think you can watch that? If you send it to me now, I'm going to have it watched by the end of the day. Oh, great, great. So when do you think it's a good time to get back to you when you have watched the video? Today or tomorrow? Tomorrow, okay. What time do we get? So you really nail it down. You see, you're not talking, you're not explaining everything. You're not there and selling you opportunity. No, you you make it, of course, interest. You might make him curious, the person curious, and that they want to know more. So you send them a video, and then you follow up and follow through. And if time and opportunity, of course, permit, be straight about it. Answer, of course, once they have watched the video, the questions directly, followed immediately, of course, by your own questions. Call people by their name. They love hearing about it, and of course their name, and they will, of course, be thankful that you remember. And then, very vital, very important, leapfrog. Show people that it is who they know that can make them successful. You've got to paint a picture of their success through the prospect's eyes. They need to see it. You don't need to see it. You already see it. Okay? The people need to see that they can become successful with that. Trip on everyone that has said no. What they meant was not no, it's just not now. So send them everything um, every month. Stay in contact somehow. Find a way how to stay in contact with those people. And I tell you what, life will change. Life is changing. I mean, totally changing almost every year. It's changing every month, every 3 months. Something in their life is changing. So, you find a way to stay in contact with them, and maybe not now, but later on they will. Offer people about 1/3 of what you think their full-time income is actually is, also what their full-time income pays them. You offer them 1/3 of that. So if they're making, of course, $10,000 right now, well, you offer them a third. If they're making $2,000 a month, you tell them, well, if you could make this and such and such. Because less is boring, but much is also not credible. It's unbelievable for them. So offer a specific amount of income as soon as possible. Some or a lot of money is very difficult to visualize. It's very difficult to visualize. If you tell me, well, you can make a lot of money. Well, what is a lot of money for you, for them? For me, I'm sure it's very different, a lot of money, what it is for you. Okay? I'm sure it is very different because it differs for each and every individual. So you got to show them some numbers. And that's why I love to draw circles. Like Don teaches us as well. He teaches very well to drawing the circles. Of course, it's pretty simple. So when you show them, of course, first of all, on their mining, what they in Bitcoin can make, but then also what every time they introduce somebody to the business, it's very simple. You're in the miner, you get $42.50 on the silver package, 70 on the gold, 145. Ambassador 390, Executive 390, Platinum 590. So get 5 people to get this package. Well, you see what you make. Very, very simple. Don't beg people to join. Beggars are not attractive. Offer the opportunity and be just fine with them not being ready. It's just fine. Be mindful of what you are doing when you offer the opportunity to others. Would they want to do what you are doing? Would they actually want to do what you are doing? Do you look like your opportunity is working for you? Are you having fun? Are you dressed attractively? Are you coming across like a salesman? Or does your car look like scary to ride in it? Is your home inviting? Do you speak positively about life and others? I can tell you the amounts of time I was approached with something, okay? Some opportunity, some business, some whatever. Or even going shopping. The amounts of time I would not buy, even though I wanted to buy, but I would not buy because I didn't like the attitude, because they were not positive. I mean, the amounts of time. I think just think about the amounts of restaurants you walk in, at least I do, and I look at the menu, and I may even like the menu, but then I don't like the vibe. I don't like the vibration. I don't like the people. I don't like the staff, and I walk out again. So imagine this is how I always see it, and that is why I'm very conscious about when I go to an appointment, when I do a presentation, when I talk to people. I'm super conscious about how my presence is, okay? Because it's really important. But not only my presence, how my vibration is. And I can tell you, I had situations, difficult situations. I had situations where, I mean, a scenario, I remember that very vividly. I was in Panama and I was on my computer just about to host a presentation, 2 or 3 minutes before I was hosting an opportunity presentation. There was, my mother was calling me, didn't want to take the call. She called again, didn't want to take the call. She called again. I said, she needed to talk to me urgently. I said, Mom, I'm about to present. You wait, no, I can't wait. My sister has cancer. She's about to die. I was like, okay, okay, I don't believe it. I don't believe she's gonna die. I don't believe she's gonna die. And so I said to my mom, it's okay. She's not going to die. Change your mindset. She's not going to die. I don't believe it. I'm going to host this webinar and then I get back to you. And my sister's fine. She's very good now, and she got over it, even though the doctor said all kinds of things. But again, this is another story. And so, like, no matter what the situation is, okay, no matter how difficult the situation is, and I know Pastor Blue and we are really praying for him and his daughter. They're in a very difficult situation right now, but he's showing up no matter what, no matter what. Okay, so listen, 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 listen. No one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Edify, edify, edify. Sell your sponsor, sell your upline and corporate leaders. Sell them to your prospects and the new distributors powerfully. You got to practice this. Really, folks, you got to practice this. Never talk bad. Never, ever talk bad downline. I mean, never talk bad downline. Everything you have to be considered or afraid or scared or which you think in your mind is negative, talk upline. Don't talk on downline. Never do that. Know your competition, very important. Visit other opportunity meetings. Study their website. Learn from them. I did do that. Support the dreams of your competitive distributors because you just never know when their company shuts down or situations change or whatsoever. Just don't attempt them to lure them away. But many of them will one day looking for something new. Paint a vivid picture of the income opportunity for your prospects. People have to see it in their minds, eyes in order to believe it. Learn to sell the unique advantages of SGG, getting paid in Bitcoin, why I did, and how you could too. Learn to sell the unique advantages by, very simply saying some phrases like that: protection against inflation and volatility, combining the stability of physical gold with the agility of Bitcoin. Okay, you see here, stories tell. It only took 40 years. Remember that your bank card, and now everything is done on the app. I was in Vietnam where I was sitting next to a Chinese man, and that was very friendly Chinese man, and he was actually saying and telling me how in China everything they do on the mobile application. They don't even use cash anymore. They don't even use a credit card. They have everything on they pay just with their phone. They just with their codes, and that's how they pay with. That's the way they pay. And I found that really, really interesting. So did I get in touch with him or talk about that? Of course I did. So it only took 40 years. Think of it as a change. Craft and practice your personal story on every product, services with which you have had success, as well as why you are engaged in the opportunity. Very important. You've got to craft and practice your personal story. In fact, it has to be so well crafted that if I would knock your door at 4 a.m. And you would be in your whatever best dream right now, but I would knock on your door and I would ask you what business you are in or what you do for a living or what you do, and you would be able just really like just tell us or tell me your story, like in very brief sentences. This is so important, which has to be done in our trainings. Of course, when we get started, it has to be drafted. The story can change. That is, you can refine that story. You can trim it down, but be brief, be powerful. Think of how others could interpret what you say. Think of how you could say it so that they will believe you. What would it have to sound like for you to be interested? Okay? And be on ready alert to offer any one of your success stories on email, in meetings, or any conference call, Skype call, Hangout, OVO, whatsoever, when given the opportunity. Because information tells, but stories sell. So you've got to master your stories, be brief, and stay on target. Craft your own story letter. Could be a 3/4 page on a non-company letterhead that tells the story on how and by whom you were introduced to MLM, what the products did for you, and what was it really about the income opportunity that compels you to take advantage of that. Okay? Really craft that story letter and use your story as your primary piece of prospecting literature. And then you can send or hand it out with anything else you offer to prospects and add it to your web page even. Update it, of course, as often as you have something powerful to add. Prospect anyone and everyone with whom you consider working, would like to work with. Some of the most successful leaders in our industry first joined as very unsuccessful people. And the most successful one is already to a point of, let's say, $500,000 annual income, the easier they can see this working. The more contracts they have, and the more contracts or contacts, sorry, not contracts, contacts they have, spelling mistakes, the more contacts they have and the more credibility they have, and of course, with those contacts, of course, the easier it's going to be for them. So from the lowest to the highest and everyone in between, you got to prospect them all. Okay? Less successful people will respond to immediate income. Even, maybe $50 or $100 will make a huge difference in their lives. And they are usually willing to do more for it. I was just talking to a person, he was saving $30 in order to get started with Bitcoin. He's from Venezuela. We know in Venezuela there's a lot of challenges, a lot of difficulty right now. And so he is at $30. But hey, he can start with $30 with our business. He can get a mining contract, right? So with that, he is going to start sharing with people. He may get other people to mine. And he's maybe acquiring more hash power. From that more hash power, he's acquiring more Bitcoin. With the Bitcoin, he can purchase more products and services. He can do whatever with it, you see? So will this make a difference to that person? It is. It certainly is. So really don't underestimate people as well. More successful people, of course, respond to monthly income and longer term residual income and are usually willing to do less for it. Financially successful people are often dominated by their business or career and are looking for a way to replace a portion of all their income. And they're usually willing to wait longer and will invest more time to make it happen. Okay? Most people that earn up to $500,000 a year could not maintain their lifestyle of liquid assets if their income actually stopped for more than 2 or 3 months. That is a fact. Being broke is actually a relative concept. I remember very vividly, we were in Frankfurt, and when the crisis hit, 2008, right? Right. In 2008, when was Lehman Brothers? Lehman Brothers, Frankfurt closed, and we were in Frankfurt and living basically in this district where all the bankers lived. It's a beautiful district, just right across of the central bank. And all of a sudden, of course, you saw there's more and more people moving out. So there's all this furniture, trucks who were standing there and people moving out. And then you would ask people, in the street, or what's going on there? Well, Lehman Brothers closed. And so all of a sudden, their money was gone. Their income was gone. That is certainly a true factor for why people actually want to look for a long-term residual income. So your job is to master the art of leapfrogging. Okay, leapfrogging is showing the prospect who they know that should be successful, most often using occupation as the anchor. Paint a picture on a yellow pad of how their group should grow, first level, second level, based on knowing people in certain occupations, drawing the circles. Who do you know that is a nurse? Who do you know that is a teacher? Who do you know that is an engineer? Who do you know that works in a bank? Who do you know that? You see? And then what you're really doing is, or for example, in my case, I was working for a company. I was actually working for a network marketing company, and I was a waitress in a very, very exclusive restaurant in Germany. But yet I was waiting tables. Is this bad? No, it's not bad. But I could, of course, rely to people in similar jobs. So if I did it, well, they could do it. You see? So if you know in your business a pastor, which I believe we do know, we have him on a call. Well, and if you know a successful pastor, well, we have them on a call. Well, then, talk about that successful pastor. If you do know, of course, let's say I don't know, a nurse who has really built a great residual income. Well, refer to that nurse. If you know a banker who has built this business, and we know a banker who is successfully building this business, well, then refer, well, look, he was a banker, and you know what? He did build that business. So you got to leapfrog and paint a picture in their mind. Leapfrogging conversation starts by asking, who do you know that is A? And more successful people must be leapfrogging so that they can how it is, who they know, or what their what their lead generation system they have access to that will earn them the money, and not how much time they put in themselves. And prospects' objections are, of course, rarely true, as we know, even for them. And these objections are merely from a resisting being sold, because nobody wants to be sold. So you cannot argue, and you cannot even subtly argue. That's their rejections. We need to master, we need to learn and how to show them that they can look at through a different objective. Okay, they can look at through a different looking glass, and that they are looking right now through. That is what our skill eventually, how it has to be developed. And I tell you what, that even works for relationships. So, amen. Always listen, embrace, define, embellish, preach, and address. Master showing your career plan. 5, you get 5, you get 5. Focus on the 4 cornerstones of why it works. The people, the sales, the compensation plan, and the residual asset. So this was it, folks, for today. Tomorrow we are hosting a Getting Started Right training. This were my tips for you on how to start a successful business, or how to build a successful business. Now, of course, this is just a very, very brief overview, as you may understand. That is just some things which, of course, are very important besides, of course, the decision on the goal and launching and getting started the business, and the never considering of the failing. And the only time is, of course, now, and of course, watching out of those naysayers, and welcome those obstacles, and be clear about your goal, and be flexible in the learning process, and understanding that this is a team build. So with that, I'm going to check again if I can hand over to Dr. Blue, or if I'm not able to. If I'm not able to, well, then I did something wrong, and I need to improve on that. So with that, I want to say thank you, all your listeners. Thank you, Team Makoa. Thank you, Dr. Blue. And I'm going to try now if I can actually get you on the call. So let me see if you folks are still there, who is there, and if I actually can do so or not do so. So one moment. I know we do have viewers here. So let me just look at my, okay, cancel, not here. I know we have our founder and CEO on the call as well. So that I know for sure as well. I'm not sure how to get him though. So let me just. No, I'm muted. Can't do that. Maybe I invite. No. Okay, I don't think I can do it now. So with that, I apologize. We need to rehearse that a little bit more here. This is our first hangout, but I know we're going to do tons of more hangouts. And I need to rehearse that with the pastor. But thank you all, guys, for being here. And I look forward, of course, to next week's hangout. Well, and look forward for tomorrow's training, of course. Well, let's improve on that, and we always can get better. Thank you all for being here, and I, of course, look forward to see you next.